is the OoTPC number 010, episode 10. I am the Game Mage, and joining me virtually through the series of tubes, audioly, binaural audio in both of my ears into my brain hole. Wait, brain hole? No, I don't have a brain hole. Into my brain mass is Mike the Hammer K. Kludzinski. How are you doing tonight, Michael?
Bro, I'm just fantastically super duper. How are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing better right now than I have been in the past several days, so that's always a plus.
Yes.
Keep it on the positive. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. We got a couple things to talk about tonight. We always keep saying, we're going to try to keep these things under an hour, and I'm not sure if we've ever actually done that. Maybe once we've done that. I don't know. But I'm thinking tonight might be the night, sir.
Maybe it is. We shall see.
So we've got a couple of topics to talk about, so we'll just dive right in. The first one is one we kind of talk about a whole lot, but sometimes the subject therein changes. So I think it bears us continually talking about this, because it kind of is the whole purpose of us doing this, kind of to give context on us and our lives and what we do. And what we do is play video games. So what are we playing? That's what we're gonna do here. So.
Yes.
Mike, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah. What are you playing, sir?
Let's see. Main thing I've been playing is Ratchet and Clank, the first Ratchet and Clank game.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm still enjoying. Let me put it this way. So, the menu on this thing, it was kind of strange. There's this like the save menu that you go to load and save a game. I accidentally went to the save one instead of the load one, and then you press X to select, whatever, like you would normally. And then for whatever reason, circles like always cancel or exit or whatever. So I was like, oh frig, I did not mean to pick that. And then I pressed circle, and apparently on that menu, circle is confirmed. And so I started a new save over my original save on this game. And I was like, about an hour and a half, 2 hours into it.
Oh, dude,
which sucked, but I'm enjoying the game so much that it did not bother me that. I mean, of course that blew hard, but
yeah,
I was not as I wasn't like, oh, I gotta play all this stuff all over again.
Yeah.
It was still enjoyable having to, replay the first hour and a half of the game.
Well, that's cool. I mean,
but yeah, so,
I can imagine like the tutorial being a little boring.
Yeah,
I don't know how or if there's a tutorial in the game.
It's a very story driven kind of game. So there's lots of cutscenes. Every time you kind of progress, there's a cutscene.
Okay.
But the stuff's done so well that it's not ultra irritating and all that. But I was able to. I don't even know what I did to skip some of these scenes, but I hit a bunch of buttons, and I was never able to figure it out. Quite literally, I would just start button smashing, and eventually the scene would skip. So there's some like Konami code hidden in the game that allows you to...
That's exactly what I was about to say, is like the Konami cutscene skip code.
So yeah.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, really enjoying that. I'll probably talk more about that once I wrap that up. And I forgot to tell you this, and I did not mention this on Order More Tires last week, but I got a Vita for my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they actually,
nice.
they released a blue one last month.
Okay.
Just last month. So it's a blue...
Now that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, a blue slim Vita.
Okay.
And I'm really digging it. Like, I just looking through like Amazon and stuff, there are a million games for this thing that are like $15, or like about $15, give or take, maybe 10 to 20, something like that. And they're, some freaking great games on it. So have you heard that you can play remote play PS4 with it? You know about that?
Yes.
Yeah. This is the most black magic thing I have ever seen in my life. Like, I was 20 minutes away from my house, and I was able to turn on my PS4 with my Vita, and then play PT.
What?
From 20 minutes away from my house.
Holy crap, dude!
And it is not that laggy or anything. I mean, you can tell you're playing this thing remotely, but like it is absolutely just ridiculous. Like I loaded this up and I was like, no way, this is going to, no way.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. And so, I mean,
that's amazing.
With that, basically any game that you have for PS4, and that's the thing, like any game that you have for PS4, you can play with this thing.
Oh man.
Some games have specifically allow you, like they say they support remote play, but what that means is basically it has control options built into the game for it. Or like when it gives you a tutorial, it'll actually show a picture of the Vita on the game instead of the PS4 controller. But even if a game does not support it, you can still play it. And it's actually interesting the way it works because it doesn't have. So the Vita doesn't have the two triggers, L2 and R2, and it does not have the thumb clicks, so it doesn't have L3 or R3.
Well, then how did you do PT?
So it has. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it, but I'm going to explain it. On the back of it is a touchpad. So you can have it where you can assign them, but you can have it where the back are like L2 and R2 where you tap it.
Oh, okay.
And then on the touch screen on the front, you can have the 4 different corners of it, or you can assign those to, L3 or R3 or whatever. And then in the middle of the screen, you can use that as the touchpad on the PS4 controller.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's really slick. It's very unfortunate that it doesn't quite have the support. It does not have the support that the 3DS does and all that stuff. But
there's 2 huge reasons for that, right?
Yeah.
Number 1 is there's no, development push on the Vita. Mm-hmm. And number 2 is, memory cards are like half the price of the system itself.
Yeah. And that is a big one. I got a 32 gig card, which you would not think is that expensive,
right.
But it was $50.
Exactly.
Which that sucks. But
yeah.
I mean, if you can muscle past that, basically factor that into the cost of the console because the internal memory has 1 gig, so you can't put a whole lot on there. But yeah, I mean, if you can muscle past that, yeah. And if you don't mind playing, older games, whatever. But I mean, it was just ridiculous. Some of the stuff I was looking at, they just have so many different things for it, and it's all cheap. So
that's awesome. I need to get one of those so I could play Fallout 4 in bed.
Yeah, exactly. And and I was doing it on my network in my house, and it was freaking flawless, like no lag whatsoever. So if you have a good network in your house, then yes. If you have good internet, then I mean, you can kind of tell that there's a little tiny bit of lag, but
yeah. I
mean, it was honestly no worse than me playing it on a TV that has a little bit of lag on it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's real crazy.
I was blown away. Like, I totally thought, no way does that work that well. But
right.
Sure enough.
Well, I play Mario Maker a good bit on the gamepad.
Yeah.
Like on a different floor on my house, and that's always been flawless.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely can't tell I'm like hard levels, right? Like I'm playing like real hard levels, and it's like where you have to have precision controls, and like you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
The only thing is it's a little awkward looking at the screen, playing it like that. But, but yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
you've piqued my interest about that.
Just that alone basically means that you can take your PS4 with you wherever you go as long as you have internet access.
Man.
So
that's pretty crazy. I wonder, like, how far away it would get, like, real bad,
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, because it can't be infinite distance, right? Because, I mean, you got to do a whole lot of hops on the internet. But, like, I'm assuming, like, 20 minutes from your house, like, maybe 1 hop, 2 hops. In Memphis, that's probably pretty close.
Yeah. Next time I come visit you, I'll check it out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that would be pretty sweet.
I don't know, like PS4 does that thing where you can like remote share a game or whatever that is, so you can allow somebody to jump on and play your game. So
yeah,
and I have yet to do that.
Man, that's how I could play PT.
Oh yeah, there you go. You just let me know, bro, and I will just turn my junk
man.
on, and you can just play with it. That sounded nasty.
Man,
Moving right
that's
along.
incredible, dude.
Yeah. Technology, guys.
Yeah, for real. We're living in the future.
Oh, actually, also, speaking of streaming stuff, also somebody else gave me a Steam link for my birthday.
Oh, nice.
So what that lets you do is it lets you just, stream your from another computer in your house, your Steam games from that computer.
Yeah.
So, and that seems to work pretty well. I tried it on Wi-Fi and wired in, and it definitely works better wired in. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you have a wired network in your house and you want to play Steam on another TV somewhere, in a completely different room than your desktop, that it is a pretty sexy solution there.
I definitely need to pick one of those up because
And it's $50.
I got the Resident Evil HD remaster on PC, and like right now I'm recording it and stuff, so yeah, it's fine to be like at my machine. That's not a problem. But eventually, when I just want to sit back and enjoy it, I'm gonna want to put it on my bigger TV.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to move my computer over there to do that. So that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. The Steam controller, which I have not tried, I've heard good things about it. It has two touch pads on it. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen some people say that it feels really strange for about 5 minutes, and then you get used to it, and that's cool. So yeah, I don't have one of those. Maybe I'll get one in the future. It's one of those things like I don't want to spend $50 on a controller that I don't like, and
oh yeah.
So
I'm just gonna get another DualShock 4.
Yeah, but yeah, you can do that.
I've been trying to like move back and forth between the PC and the PS4 on wireless, and that's just not fun. Like at this point, I'm just plugging in the DualShock 4 on my PC when I'm using it now. But obviously, that's not going to work if I'm in the next room over. So
yeah, actually, I think if you want this, I don't know, the PS4, the classic, like PlayStation Anniversary, the gray one.
I heard that controller sucks, though. That's what Jim Sterling says.
Does it?
Yeah, he says it's nothing like it's not nothing like, but it's significantly not as good as the regular DualShock 4 controller.
Okay, we'll scratch that. There are sales on those controllers left and right. So I got my blue one for $30, or I think it was like 32 or something like that.
Yeah, the most recent sale I saw was like $39 for like the regular black one. But yeah, I mean, I'll just wait till it goes.
They're on sale like every 5 seconds. So
yeah. But man, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love being a turtle. But besides that, this is absolutely the best controller ever made. Yeah. I am HO, and that H is very H.
Right.
I'm so humble, dude. I'm so freaking humble. I can't even believe it.
Awesome. So what are you playing, Jables?
So I've been playing a whole lot of stuff, probably too much stuff, actually. So I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil HD Remaster, although I haven't really played that much in the past week. That kind of got on hold a bit. I don't even know why. I've been looking at other stuff, I guess. Been playing a lot of Fallout 4. I really like that game, man.
Excellent.
There's a lot of people who are starting to complain about, like, at first everybody was in love with it, and it's like, oh man, it's the best game ever, and it's like, no, it's not. I mean, even you play it, it's not, but that's just the hype from it first coming out. And now people are really starting to complain about and nitpick about it, where they're like, the quests aren't as good as they used to be, and it's a lot of, just run here and shoot things up and then run back, pick up something and run back and all this, that, and the other. And yeah, maybe it's not as good as it used to be. Maybe it's a little more ham-fisted and a little less, immersive, but I'm really immersed in the world and I'm really enjoying it, and I have nothing to complain about when it comes to that game and my enjoyment of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep playing it. I've gotten to the point where on the main quest line I need to level up a little bit before I go do the next part of it, because it's in a really, I guess, high level area, and I'm not quite high enough level yet, and I got to pick up some items needed for it. So
gotcha.
I took that opportunity to go explore some more, and there's this one really cool side quest, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but where you get to assume the identity of someone else. So let's just put it that way. And that whole thing's pretty. It's funny, and it's awesome, and nobody's gonna get this but you. But I'm gonna say it. It reminds me of like. You basically get to become Tommy Hancock, or like his dream, like of what he would want to be. So,
all right, okay.
You can imagine what I mean by that. So, shout out to Tommy Hancock. He's a cool guy. So anyway, yeah, it's a good game. I don't want to speak too much about that because I haven't been playing that a ton. Not as much as I want to, but of course more than I should.
Yeah, right.
I started playing The Witcher, like the first The Witcher, because it and the second one were on sale on Steam for like $2. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get that.
Yeah.
It's awkward. When I say awkward, I mean the controls are really awkward. The game itself is fun. There's like infinite cutscenes in this game, at least to the point where I'm at. So I still feel like I'm in the intro of the game, but I've played like an hour into it or so. I'll probably keep playing that. What else? The big thing, though, that I've been playing, and this is really what I've been focusing on, probably shouldn't be, but I just got one of those, wild hairs about it. Resident Evil 2 speedrunning. I've been trying to push my time on that, and I did get a new personal best on Friday, I think is when I did it.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I beat Leon A with A rank, no first aid sprays, no saves in 1 hour 42 minutes and 36 seconds.
Very nice.
So I was very happy because I wanted to get under an hour. I wanted to get under 2 hours, and then a stretch goal was like under an hour 50, and the dream was under an hour 45, and so I got the farthest stretch that I wanted.
Yeah.
Now my goal is to go under 130, because if I can get under 130, I can get on the leaderboards. So
okay, all right.
The problem is that my run, it was like total not optimized, because I'm still scared running it because I don't want to like get 30 minutes into it and die.
Right.
So I'm picking up more items than I should, and I'm shooting a whole lot more than I should. There's some really hard. I won't say hard. There's some annoying dodges that you have to do like multiple times throughout the game if you don't kill the zombies, and I just go ahead and kill them so that I don't have to continue to do them. Gotcha. And it's one of those things where like that adds like 5 minutes to the game,
right? And
you do that in like 2 different places, and it's like, wow, I'm already way out where I'm at instead of being at like 130. So we'll see. I'm probably gonna do another run on that tonight. I'm gonna do a screw it run, and I'm not gonna shoot anything. I'm gonna shoot what I have to shoot, but I'm just gonna run and not pick up unnecessary handgun bullets, not pick up unnecessary herbs, first aid sprays, things like that. Because like in all these runs, I've been picking up a whole lot of first aid sprays, and I've never once used one. It's only been like in case of emergency, but luckily I've never needed to use it. But the good thing is though, the final boss, he's got 2 forms, and I've always known how to beat the first form really fast, because all you have to do is shoot him 3 times real quick while he's growling at you at the beginning. With the Magnum. But I watched the world record run, and it was some dude. He was like, the whole time he was like, "This isn't gonna be a record. This is just crap." And like he kept blasting himself, and like watching him, it's like he did do a whole. There are lots of times like he got hung up on corners, and he got grabbed when he probably shouldn't have, and then it's like he's still like big time has the world record with that run. But yeah. But I was watching that run, and at the end, he did this one thing. He did this strat at the final boss, where like you run to one part in the room right as soon as you can move after the enemy shows up. And if you do that, then it causes his AI to like jump around in his second form, such that he never even gets close to you. So like it's like easy mode to beat him. It's like, man, I wish I'd known about that, because I could have saved like a minute off of my last run, and I would have felt a lot less nervous about fighting him, put it that way. Oh well. But it's cool. Like, I'm really starting to get, I guess, addicted to getting better at speedrunning that game.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Right.
Because it's like, I keep playing the same game, and I'm not getting through my backlog, but I feel like I'm accomplishing a whole lot because I never thought I'd ever beat that game like when I was younger in less than 8 hours or something.
Right.
Because that was my fastest run was 8 or 9 hours. And then when you start to remember everything, you start playing it more frequently. You remember where all the key items are. You remember what order you have to do stuff in. And then another thing, not to get too deep on this will be the last thing I say about it, but the other thing that I learned from watching the world record run is there's a whole part of the run where there's a couple items you have to pick up where he did that in a completely different order than I do. And thinking about it, I understand why he does, because he probably saves at least 2 to 3 minutes, because the way that I do it, I have to backtrack a couple times.
Yeah.
But the reason that I was doing it the way that I did it was because I wanted to pick up more items, but he just picks up fewer items, and so he holds them all at the same time instead of me picking them up, putting them into a chest, and then going back around to pick up other stuff. So I'm going to try to do a screw it run where I'm, like I said, not going to pick up that stuff, and then hopefully it can be a little bit faster if I can even do it, but
cool.
I suppose we'll see. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
So.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get around to playing that game, but I'm sure it's going to take me a little bit longer than an hour and 45 minutes to beat it.
Oh, yeah, I know. So, yeah, that's what I'm playing. So
Sweet.
Done some stuff. All right. Anything else that you wanted to speak of that you're partaking in, or whatnot?
Negatory.
All right. Well, we can mark that off the list. I'm doing that right now if I could touch the right mouse here.
Check.
So, next thing on our list, and the last thing for this evening, is there's a game that you've finished playing, you played through, and I've played through some of it, but I've watched a couple playthroughs before I even got it. So I've kind of seen the most of the experience, if not all of the experience.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to talk about this. This is Until Dawn. So this is a game that came out, September this year? Something like that?
I actually don't know when it came out. I mean, it had to have been at least that recently.
Yeah. It's not too long ago. And so a lot of people... this is a game that's kind of divisive, right? Or divides people, where some people are like, yeah, man, that game was really cool. And some people are like, man, that game's really boring. And so I wanted us to kind of talk about it because and here we go back to the For Those of You Who Don't Know podcast. For those of you who don't know, Until Dawn is a game where so it's a story, and it's mainly like interacting with the story and controlling the story and trying to affect the outcome of the story and affect the fate of the characters in the story. And it tells the story of how many kids? 9 altogether, including like Beth and Hannah? I can't even remember, actually. Maybe 10.
Something like that. A certain number of people.
Between 7 and 10.
Yeah.
And so it's set up, it's like a horror movie. It's set up like that, like a bunch of teens go into the woods and a horror movie ensues, sort of thing. And these kids are real archetypes when it comes to, like the horror movie thing, where, you got one who's obviously a jock, and one who's the level-headed girl, and one who's the mega bee, and one who's the clueless woman, and it's just stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like you start off like picking out, okay, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna be the first to die.
You're dying pretty. Exactly. Oh man, you're gonna trip every time you try to run. So it's one of those things, and so the thing is, the way that you actually do this is you at different points in the game you control different characters, and so you can frame their response to certain situations. Sometimes that's like a vocal response, so like actually saying something in response to a question or to something that somebody else is saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's actually a physical action, like should I open this door or should I go that way? Sometimes
I hate those.
Oh, I know. Sometimes there's quick time events. Sometimes there's what else is there? Sometimes there's action, like you have to move the cursor to a certain point and hit the button. Obviously, you could think maybe that's shooting a gun. Well, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. That sort of thing. But those things are few and far between. Most of the things in the game are choosing a response or a thing to do from a couple options. And sometimes you can choose not to do anything too. That's a valid option. And then also one of the other things is holding the controller still, so to not move. So like if you so there's motion sensor inside, accelerometer inside the PS4 controller, and if you move it too much, then it's like, oh, you've given away your position, or you do something or another.
Yeah.
So the goal is to make it to the end of the night with all of the kids or alive, or make it, until dawn. With all of the kids alive. I say kids, these are and it's even crazy to a T with these horror movies too, because they're kids who are supposed to be in high school, but they totally look like they're in college.
Right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I'm assuming they're supposed to be in high school. Maybe they're supposed to be college kids. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're high school kids. At least I don't know. Well, anyway, I'll save the editorializing. But so. A lot of people are like, oh, that's boring. It's just like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls and all those games where it's just you're watching a movie and you're not really playing a game. And some people are like, oh, it's really innovative. And it tries to stress the butterfly effect, so your choices impact the story. So anyway, we're probably are we going to speak about this as in a spoiled manner? Or
I think. I mean, I'm fine with that if you're fine with that, unless you think we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, we're not gonna be able to talk effectively if we don't. So yeah,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, big time.
We should probably jot down the time of this or whatever on the description. So yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll just say whenever we start talking about Until Dawn, that's spoilers till the end.
Screw it. Beginning now, things are spoiled.
Yes.
Listen to something else.
This is the point of no return. You have no recourse for complaining if you get spoiled and you're mad about it.
Yes.
So
now that I'm completely derailed and have forgotten anything we were just talking about.
We're talking about this game called Until Dawn.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was funny because I didn't really know that this game exists. I think I remember seeing a trailer for it somewhere along the way. A year or two ago or something. Yeah. And then I had just completely forgotten about it. And I was watching a bunch of Markiplier's videos, and this showed up. And I started watching. I was like, this looks freaking sweet. And, I really love games like this where, you're kind of interacting with the story or kind of choosing, what's going to happen. Like Telltale Games, all their games where it's kind of like an interactive story, and you choose something and it's going to affect the rest of the story. And
Clementine will remember that.
Yes. And the whole butterfly effect deal with this game really intrigued me. And it's funny, in this game, it makes a big deal out of it whenever you do something that you cause something else to change in the game. You see these butterflies explode all over the screen, and it's just
that's always an oh crap moment.
It's always the worst feeling ever. Even if it was good, it was like, oh, what's gonna happen here? Since I picked up this baseball bat, what does that mean? What am I gonna need this somewhere along the way, and it's not gonna be there, and I'm gonna die? What And you just start. It's so funny because you start thinking of all these terrible things that are going to happen, and a lot of times what you think is going to happen doesn't even happen.
Yeah. So the ultimate spoiler for this, and we'll work our way back around, but I just want to get this out of here, out right now, because it bears saying, no matter what you do, the ending is not drastically different. If everybody dies, if nobody dies, if a few people die, it's basically the same. It's just the difference being at the end, there's a scene outside of this cabin in the woods, and you see whoever's alive standing there. And then during the credit roll, they have interviews, debrief interviews with law enforcement, and the ones that are alive give their interview. The ones that are not alive don't.
Yeah.
That's literally the only difference. Well, and there's one section where you're walking through it, and whoever's died appears in it, strung up or something. But if they're not dead, then they're not there. That's good.
I'm not going to lie. I screwed up the very last, that whole section of events there. And if you go back to the PS4 menu and close the game after you've screwed it up and then reopen the game, it does not save it. So I was able to successfully make it through that whole ending section without anybody else dying that wasn't already dead.
Okay.
So there's that. If you're playing this game from the beginning and you have accidentally done something that has screwed somebody over, you can and you have some kind of way of preventing it. You haven't gone down the wrong fork in the road or something.
Right.
Then you can close the game, then reopen the game, and voila, they're back to life. So yeah, and that I didn't have a whole lot of trouble with the staying still thing until that last part. I kept screwing that up over and over again. And for those of you who don't know, so the enemies in this game, they're kind of like T-Rexes in Jurassic Park, where they can only see things that are moving. And so that's the whole idea behind this. You have to hold
in the first Jurassic Park.
Yes, excuse me.
Right.
That's the whole idea behind this thing, where you have to stay still or they'll see you and kill you. So
yeah.
And this happens like 4 or 5 times in the last section of events.
I have to say, as anticlimactic as the ending is, the last tense struggle there, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
To watch that unfold and to I've not experienced it yet, but just I can imagine it being pretty awesome to experience.
The whole game, the way the whole game is structured, it feels to me. I mean, I enjoy this kind of game, and I can completely understand why somebody would want to run in there and Rambo everything and not be able to do that. But I personally really enjoyed the way this game is laid out, and the way when the first time I switched characters, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then you end up playing as all these different characters in all their different scenarios, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that the biggest problem I have with the game is that it oversold the whole butterfly effect aspect. Because the things that actually change that aren't like somebody dying, not dying, are extremely subtle and very hard to spot. Like early on, like there's this recurring segment where you're talking to like this therapist who's played by Peter Stormare, who I like him as an actor. I thought ever since I saw him in Minority Report, I thought he was pretty funny as an actor, just in general. But he's asking you questions and trying to assess what's going on. And early on, you answer questions about things that make you scared or anxious or that you just don't like. And there's one series where it can come down to like a scarecrow or like clowns or like zombies or something else. And the only way that really manifests is there's this one part where there's like this body thing, stuffed thing hanging, and depending on what you said scared you, it's going to show a clown or a scarecrow or whatever. So it's like, okay, I mean that's extremely superficial, and the way that it's even presented, you don't even have time to assess what it is when it scares you.
Yeah. So injecting this here, this game is full of jump scares, like full of jump scares. And eventually I got used to it, and I kind of expected it, so it wasn't as bad. But early on, it got me like every single one of these things. And there's this one part where you open up this cabinet and this raccoon jumps out, and I literally screamed louder than
it's a Wolverine.
Excuse me, whatever it was. And I screamed so freaking loud when this happened.
Oh man.
My wife was downstairs in another room. She's like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Excuse me, I saw an animal jump out of a cupboard."
I was accosted.
Yes.
By a 4-legged creature. Oh man.
But yeah.
And the thing is, like, from the way it looks, like, you can get used to it. But then there's one that's like especially egregious toward the end. That one where like there's that locked door and you have to unlock it, and then as soon as you go in, it like pops up right at you. So just watching the playthrough of that scared the crap out of me. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. I like the concept. I wish that there were more control over what you could do. And I wish that there were more impactful and obvious ways that your actions and how you answer questions and how you do anything impacted the world and your experience of the game. I understand that's really difficult. And I understand this is like one of those games where they started developing it for like the PS3, and then they switched to PS4 when they knew that wasn't going to work, or the timeline wasn't going to work out. And so I know that there's some development costs they had to absorb in that change in focus on platform, but it feels like it was good, and I liked it, or I like it, and I plan on finishing it. But I'm disappointed in that I feel like they could have done a lot more.
Yeah.
Or they should have tried to do a lot more with as big as they were selling it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess having not seen any other playthroughs, I mean, I watched like Markiplier's first video of it, and I was sold. And I was like, I'm going to play this. I'm not going to watch anymore. Having only played through the whole thing once and only seen the whole thing progress once, I wasn't disappointed, but kind of looking back at different things, I was like, okay, well, things didn't change that much, I guess. Like you said. So, I can definitely see that, but just going blindly into it, I definitely enjoyed it, like just experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, I wish that I hadn't watched all that. So I watched all of Markiplier's playthrough, and then I watched all of Pro Jared's playthrough. And I wish that I hadn't, in retrospect, because I could see that being a much more enjoyable experience, like the first time through it. But yeah, I don't know. So like the way we have this listed on our topics list is Until Dawn, interactive movie or more, and I want to say more. I feel like it is more or could be more, but I don't know. I mean, I've never played Heavy Rain, never played Beyond Two Souls, but everybody who has played that and played this that I've listened to said that this is definitely a better experience than those games. So that's cool. So it sounds like these kinds of games are going in the right direction, but I don't think it's quite there yet. It's like one of those, like this game's like going on ridiculous sales now. Like it went down to like $20 or something at one point.
Last week,
or maybe even less than that. Yeah, so at that price, it's like, pick this thing up and play it if you have a PS4.
I would definitely recommend it for $20. I mean, it's definitely not something that you're gonna spend 40 hours on. I mean, you could if you wanted to. I mean, there's stuff that you collect throughout the game and whatever, and you could do different things each time, make different decisions, and see what happens. But
I feel like. Okay.
I was just say ultimately, it's really good for one playthrough, and then beyond that, it kind of
Yeah, I mean, max 3, right?
Yeah.
Your first playthrough, somebody's gonna die, most likely, and then you play through with everybody living, and then through with everybody dying, which you can kill everybody. So that's pretty interesting. But that's max. That's like if you just love the game and you just want to play through it. But I feel like this game, like, it doesn't ever really reward you for making quote-unquote good decisions in the game, but it absolutely punishes you for making poor decisions.
Yep.
Because, like, it's real easy to get somebody killed, but if you don't if you make it to the end or Until Dawn with somebody not dying, you're not, super rewarded for it. Okay, they got a cutscene at the end where they're talking about their experience for the night. And it's interesting how their interview is it's realistic that how somebody would speak about the things that you went through with them. So that's interesting. Yeah. But I don't think that's good enough of a reward. But I don't know what it would be. But again, I'm not designing the game, and I'll go back to what I said the other day whenever we were talking about game design. On Last Order More Tires. I'm not a game designer, don't want to be a game designer, and that's precisely why, because whiny little people like me take your game and be like, well, they should have done this, should have done that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good game. I feel like we're coming more negative on this game than I would have, or I thought about when we were thinking about talking about it, because like I like the game. Like I said, I'm going to play through it. I think that I don't think it's ever going to go back up to $60. So it's probably going to be worth whatever they're asking for it at most points in time.
Yeah.
Wouldn't pay full price, but
yeah, I would say just if you haven't played it, and I honestly don't think we've revealed too many spoilers here, but
yeah,
if you have not played this, don't go into it expecting some kind of deep butterfly effect kind of deal. Like
if you sneeze in one direction, everybody's gonna die.
Right. Like the first time I was like, I had the option to like kill a squirrel or do something. I was like, I've seen that movie Butterfly Effect. Oh,
that movie was pretty crazy.
Yeah. This game would be like nothing like that movie as far as the things that happen in it.
Right.
So I would say, that aspect of it was definitely oversold. But just go into it expecting to experience a horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you like, kind of, I mean, it's not even campy, really.
It started off. I felt like, okay, this feels like every cliche horror movie I've ever seen, and then after a couple hours, it doesn't. Things start changing, and it's like, okay, I feel like I'm playing Uncharted or something here for a second.
Yeah, it does get pretty serious at some points, and it's not. You see a lot of stuff that you wouldn't see in like your just weekend horror movie sort of thing, like trying to be like blockbuster horror. Is there such thing as blockbuster horror? I don't know if that's a thing anymore, but like, what's a good example of a movie? Because I don't like those kinds of horror movies, so I can't ever remember. Final Destination.
I know what you did last summer, or
that kind of
Scream.
Genre. Yeah. Those kinds of horror movies.
The teen slasher movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, and this may be a little bit more of a major spoiler, but they try to set it up like a slasher movie, but it's not.
Yeah, and I
think
that's exactly what makes it feel really cliche like that. Is it feels like, okay, you're gonna die. Clearly, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then it turns into not that.
Yeah, it tries. It has a much more, not much more. It has a more significant plot than a slasher movie would. It's not just like, oh, there's a scary person everybody needs to get away from.
Right. Which it kind of seems like that at first, and then there are
for a long time.
And then there are a few things that happen that are like, oh snap, nothing like BioShock or whatever, but.
There's some pretty medium-sized twists in the plot, but again, like you said, no like my drawers on the floor sort of twist.
Yeah.
Nothing that you probably couldn't see coming a mile or two away.
Right.
So yeah, it's worth a play. I hope that it did well enough for that to be a signal for this team to do more games like that. I would like to see a more impactful change to my decisions in a new game.
Yeah.
I think you could do a game like this that wasn't horror. I think that the horror was kind of the cheap hook here, but it really wasn't. I hate to say it wasn't a horror movie in the end, or a horror. Wow, I even called it a movie. A horror game in the end. It was, but it's not a horror game in the way you generally think about a horror game.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a horror game the way you generally think about horror movies. It was more like a suspense horror, more suspense than horror.
Yeah, I definitely say suspense was a big deal in it, especially when as you first start off and you're like completely startled by every single little thing that happens. Yeah. Those orchestra hits just at the right time.
Yeah. Oh, me. So yeah, like I said, I hope they do more. But this is the format that they can take to do anything, right? I mean, like you said, it's somewhat reminiscent of Telltale. I think it's don't go into this thinking you're going to play a Telltale game, because that is not what you're getting at all.
Yeah,
but
much different.
It's the kind of interaction with this game is the same kind of interaction you do with most of the Telltale games. Yeah. So, cool. Well, anything else that you wanted to say about Until Dawn? Or
I don't think so. Definitely, if you see this sucker for $20, pick it up.
Yeah.
If this at all sounds interesting to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like, man, that sounds like
if you
crap,
don't like
then
QuickTime
definitely
events,
do not.
If you don't like QuickTime events, avoid this video game.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't like QuickTime events, but it's not egregious in this game. I mean, in this format, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
When it's like, if you're playing like some shooter game or something, come on now.
Right.
The only game that is, I guess you could kind of say, is sort of shooter-ish, more like an action game than shooter, but that where I think the QuickTime events were pretty decent is Resident Evil 4, but I don't want to. That'll give some spoilers if I talk too much about that. But let's just say there's some stuff towards the end of the game where there's like a whole lot of QuickTime events, and you think, oh, okay, But no, it actually is really cool how it works in with all the other stuff. I thought it was, but that was back when QuickTime events weren't like in every single game ever made, as they almost are now.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, that's something we need to talk about in another podcast, is QuickTime events.
Yeah, I was about to start going off on that, but yeah, let's save that one.
Right. All right, well, that's all we had to talk about this evening. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss in the 10th episode of the OOTPC, Mr. Hammerking?
Just the fact that we're like under an hour or something now.
Oh man, let's not spoil that. Let's capitalize on our efficiency.
Yes.
And let's give the ending plugs. So we are a band. We're called Order of Tyr. We're actually, the two of us are not all of the band. There are other members, but we are the ones who talk the most. I'm the one who talks the most, as you can tell. I never shut up. But you can check out our music at videogamemetal.com. You can also check out our music at soundcloud.com/videogamemetal. Everywhere else on the social web, be that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine. I know there's one more that I'm forgetting. What am I forgetting? I don't know what I'm forgetting.
I always forget,
but
and I say Facebook twice. That's always what I do.
Yeah, I know. We're at all those things /Order of Tyr. So pick your favorite social platform and go to /Order of Tyr. And if we show up, that's us, obviously. If we don't show up, we're not there, also, obviously. So, but thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We will be doing another one in a couple weeks. And in the intervening week, we do a live hangout on air called Order More Tires. And you can check out our YouTube. That's what I forgot.
Oh,
of course. YouTube.com/Order of Tyr. So you can check out our YouTube channels. We generally try to schedule those beforehand. Those are generally about 6 p.m. Central Standard Time right now, since we're not in daylight savings anymore.
Yes.
All right, that's on Mondays. All right. So I think it's time to get out of here. So we're gonna do it.
We're doing it.
I'm the Game Mage. I've been joined virtually across the inner tubes by that man, Mike the Hammer K. Klodzinski. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye, Internet.